Just sit like this whole time. All right.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Even though we haven't moved, this is the exact same night. 5 minutes later, new record
It's gonna be
button.
the second episode.
Yeah,
Though.
we just do what we can.
We had to regroup, get a new episode made up in our heads, decide what topics we want to talk about.
So these topics: what defines a mature buck?
Yep.
Mechanical versus fixed broadheads.
Yep.
And then it is out-of-state hunters, specifically for us, Illinois. But you can apply this to your own state and how you feel about
Whatever
it.
you think.
So, what do you think defines a mature buck? A 180-inch dude? Is that a mature buck automatically?
Here is
160-inch just walks out of the corn. Is that a mature buck, Lance? Automatic.
I have a pretty big, actually, opinion on this one too, just from seeing videos. Online.
Disclaimer, this is opinionated.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So our opinions may not matter to you guys, but we're
Yep.
gonna give them anyways.
Yep.
So I firmly believe a mature buck could be 50 inches, could be 200 inches. A mature buck is not defined by how many inches they are. I don't care what anybody says. They're like, oh, that's a 170-inch buck. That's a mature buck. No, it's not. You don't know something crazy?
Mm-hmm.
We work in Iowa.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to look at a deer farm. And this guy had a 2-year-old deer that I can tell you was 300 inches. And
That's wild. You know how many people can say that?
Yeah.
Like, that you actually met the owner, talked to him.
yeah, I fed the deer.
All during work hours. And he's like, yeah, that one. Good genetics, man. 2.5 years old. It's
Yeah.
300 inches.
I get it. It's a deer
Yes,
farm,
yeah.
which doesn't
Yeah.
apply to nature.
Mhm.
But everything else, maturity is not, look at people. People get smaller when they get older. You don't think deer get smaller when they get older? You get mature deer, they're not defined by inches. Like you can, there could be a freaking 170-inch 3-year-old deer, but that's not a mature deer. A mature, and my opinion, sorry, I guess I should get this out there. I'd say about 4.5, in my opinion, is what I would consider a mature deer that I would shoot.
Yeah.
Does
And I'm
that line with you?
telling you, that deer upstairs that you have mounted,
Yes.
that we first shot, was that our first season?
That was literally our first season of Drawback Addiction ever.
So, quick story. We're going to go into stories now, even though we're going to keep it moving. Yeah, I don't even know. What was it? Was it November?
It was November, yes.
Because your birthday is November 6th, so
Yep.
it had to have been somewhere in there.
It was,
11th,
dude.
11th or something like that?
It was something. November 11th. Yeah, it was sometime in November.
So, real quick, we had acre and a half of timber.
Yeah.
Stretched out.
Yeah, it's literally a creek with some trees on each side of it, pretty much.
Yeah. So that's what we were sitting in. I'm sitting there. I'm facing the cornfield, which is like where you're sitting. And then Lance was sitting right here facing the west along the creek. I'm sitting here. I turn around. I start talking to Lance. I'm like, yeah, man, something's going to happen. It's going to happen in the next 10 minutes.
Quick.
It's going to happen real soon.
Yep.
And I turn around and there is a massive body deer. I quickly, every single time we see a buck, it is not like, obviously, whenever you look at a buck, you look and you see the antlers. So you're trying to figure out, do I know that deer? Is there a G2 split? Is there a brow tine split? Like, hey, that's that deer. That's that deer. That's how you kind of get to know your deer on the farm that you hunt, whatever. But when I first turned, I looked at that deer, automatically gray in the face. Immediate. With 10 minutes daylight left, I was like, I think he's old. And then he kept on walking, gray face. I'm like, Lance, buck. And he's like, wait, what? 10 minutes of daylight, dude? I thought we were done. So Lance gets his bow, and the whole time I'm looking at him, thick neck. He's got a chest kind of drooping. Belly looked, for the most part, granted it's getting low light, but looked pretty big. And I was like, yeah, get your bow, you're shooting him. This is going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Grabbed his bow, turned, that deer's at 15, 12 yards.
Yeah.
Has no idea what's going on. Drew it back, anchored in, and just double lung right over the top, probably 4 inches below his spine. He ran up the creek, jumped, whatever. We got him out of there. And if you go all the way back on our Instagram page or whatever.
Probably the first post.
Probably one of the first early posts. But we're talking a side-by-side as our lights and iPhone SE. But you look at that deer he's old.
That was a mature deer.
Short. Nose to eye, short.
His snout was,
he was just mature. And it's not, and what do you think he scored? 110? 100.
Yeah, dude. This is an 8-pointer.
He's not.
His tines were short.
Mhm.
He had pretty good mass through his antlers, but his tines were just short, and he's just an old deer.
Yeah.
And like that is what defines a mature deer, dude. You look at the body of the deer, and you're like, dude, his chest is sagging down. His stomach, you know,
his stomach has a
bulge. He's not just a flat line, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's a mature deer. Like,
yeah.
And he didn't, like, he's not a record deer, but I was happy to shoot him, you know.
Yeah, first year you and I like really hunted together. And it was like, we're going to do drawback addiction. We're just going to run it. We're going to have fun with it.
iPhone.
We're going to film it on our That was terrible.
We're going to do it, dude.
But like, it was one of those things. And like, when you and I first started, like, we have said this hundreds of times, like, we're doing it and we're going to do it correctly. We're going after mature deer. That's what gets fired up.
Exactly.
You know how many deer a year you and I could shoot that are 3.5 or younger?
Yeah. We've passed a lot of deer, dude.
We could tag out every single year.
We have passed deer that most people, like, not people you watch on YouTube usually, but like most people that you run into every day would shoot.
Like, if you're watching this, ask yourself, would my neighbor shoot that 120 inch that I passed this year?
Yeah. Let's be
that
real.
3.5-year-old 120, like, you know, he's 3.5, like, you have history, or maybe he's a stud and you're like, I think he's two. I think he's 2.5, and he's already like 110.
Yeah, it's like,
you know, does your neighbor have kids? You know, is he gonna probably shoot him?
Is your neighbor just a farmer that goes out during shotgun season and him and his family, all 8 of them, shoot whatever they see?
Yeah,
because that's all that. I mean, and like that's nothing against.
Nothing
like, people
against
that go
that.
out and shoot deer.
Yeah,
like shoot what makes you happy, but like then don't complain when you don't see mature deer.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear that crap. But like me and Noah, since we've started this, have said we're gonna shoot mature deer, and we've been doing drawback addiction since 2020.
Yeah,
so it's 2025 now.
Yeah, this will be our
5
fifth
years.
season.
This will be our 5th season, and we've killed 2 bucks.
Yeah,
and people that have actually like kept up with us the whole time, you know, from our iPhone, Instagram days onto hopefully, you know, people are still following us on Instagram and YouTube would know like we struggle to see mature deer usually.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we're just going to go out there and shoot the young ones. That's just not what we want to do. That's what not like. Yeah, sometimes our videos might not be great because we're not shooting bucks. Like, you know, Seek One's going out there and those guys are dogs, so they're killing freaking 180-inch deer all the time, you know?
Yeah.
But then again,
they have the time and they have the effort.
Yeah, and if you watch Lee, he went to Pennsylvania and shot that buck. What they were doing that deer drive, and that wasn't no
that was a 115-inch whatever, 8 or 10 point.
He shoots what makes him happy, but guess what? He's just fortunate enough to be able to have the opportunities to hunt mega deer. Yeah. You know? And not everybody's like that. So I mean, shoot what makes you happy, but
shoot what gets you fired up. But
me and Noah want to shoot mature deer, and that's not defined by their antlers.
Yeah, it's not.
There's plenty of mature deer out there that have just garbage antlers or whatever, and they're just old. Like, look at this right here.
Grab it.
Oh yeah. Not that one.
Give me that one. Yeah.
I forgot this thing was even up here, honestly.
They're good.
I shot this deer and Jesus, probably
put that up next to each other.
Yeah.
Like
I shot this deer in what year was that? Probably 2014?
Yeah.
Something like that.
10 years ago.
This was literally a shotgun deer that I was hunting with my dad and we weren't seeing anything. So he's like, let's just go walk by the creek. And we walked by the creek and this deer was standing in the middle of a frozen creek. One eye, he was blinded because it was all messed up. And you can just tell. He was just old, burly. Like, it's almost like he wanted to drown himself in that creek. Like, this deer was just dreading life. And let me tell you, this deer measured what? Friggin' 40 inches?
Yeah. He's got a blade.
And it's just because those beams, that's all the inches? Like, this deer, like, no joke, this deer had to have been like 6 years old. This deer was ancient, dude. Like, just his nose was super short, real gray in the face, blind in one eye, just an absolute old man of a deer. That ain't measuring nothing, dude. So like,
and like this deer,
I don't believe that.
Like this deer, obviously, this deer absolutely towers that deer.
Oh yeah.
I mean, look at that. I mean, it towers him, like mass wise and everything. I mean, he's huge. But this deer we never saw on the hoof. Lance found this December 28th, like 2 years ago, this buck at some point within like 24 hours jumped the fence, and Lance went out there in the morning to go bow hunt, and he literally damn near stepped on this antler. And this is I don't even know what this would measure.
I don't know. I need to take it to the deer
I
class
think it's got to be pushing.
Well, this one right here measured like 67.
I think this has got to be pushing 70.
This one measured like 67 and like 70.
I think this one's 70.
So
I mean, you can look at that.
Yeah.
It's got more mass.
It's definitely got more mass. His tines are a little bit longer.
But I'm telling you right now, just because this is a 70-inch side, it's got mass and doesn't mean he's mature.
No, that deer could have been a 3.5-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. Now the following year, he's going to probably take that next step, whether it's antler development or just physical development.
Yeah.
Like,
he might keep the same antlers, but then his body's just bigger.
Yeah,
you know?
And it's like, that's 4.5-year-old. I tell you what, 4.5-year-old walks out. He's on my radar.
Yeah.
I'm dialing down that bow sight. I'm going to shoot at 149 yards.
Oh, my Lord.
But yeah, that's our opinion on mature deer and how we define them. And it's not about their antlers. It is all about their body, their neck, their chest, their gut, your history with them. Like if you can, I'm not saying we're pros at this by any means, but literally looking at a deer from like 50 yards away, I'd say I'm pretty confident in my ability, but like learn to read your deer and learn like, okay, that's what a droopy chest looks like. That's what a mature chest looks like, is because that neck into that chest and that shoulder mass into that belly, that deer's mature.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not into mature deer, you shoot what you want to shoot, that's fine. You know, you do you.
I guess you and I technically, not to put anybody down if you're watching this, but like, I guess you and I have matured of like, you know, we could tag out every year, but like we want the challenge.
Yeah.
And it's a damn hard challenge, dude, to get a mature buck on the ground.
It really is.
Out. It is really freaking hard. And that's what brings us back every weekend to go out every year. And it's like, you know, he might still be around. Granted, our homeboy Carl, he ain't around no more. I don't
know what happened to that dude.
I think they all got assassinated by EHD or something over there, but that's a bad situation over in that county. But yeah, that's not defined by the antlers. It's defined by the actual physical body portrait of that buck.
Yeah.
You know, so if you can learn to read that and learn what they look like, then you might be like, man, I have absolutely no mature deer on my property.
Yeah.
You know, you might just have a whole bunch of 2.5-year-old, 3.5-year-olds, and then you might have 4.5-year-olds that
stop in occasionally.
You know. I mean, you might be sitting there during a pre-rut. You might be like, I've never seen that buck, but God, he's got a huge body. That's got to be a mature buck. And I've had those thoughts. I'll be like, ooh, that's a big body. You know, I mean, it's like automatically I look at the body. I don't automatically look at the antlers, but it's like you will know 2.5 compared to a 4.5 if you can just learn to really dial in what to look for and whatnot. But yeah, not by the antlers, it's by the freaking body.
Yeah, facts.
Okay, so we got that one down. Leave your comments on there, what you think of that, our opinions on it. Drop your opinion. If you guys ain't got any more topics you want us to dial in on in the next coming weeks, drop your comments on, hey, what's your opinion on this? What's your opinion on that? Are you a Ford guy? Are you a Ram guy? You know, but it is fixed blade and mechanical now.
Fixed blade and mechanical. Okay. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I don't know, man. I feel like I need to start this one.
Go ahead.
All right. So Lance and I were both mechanical guys. This is a very opinionated topic. We are whitetail hunters. We don't go after mule deer. At least we haven't yet. We haven't gone after elk. But I think a lot of it needs to come down to how much are you drawing? What is your draw length? And what is your arrow weight?
Yeah.
For me, I'm a 30.5-inch draw, pulling 70 plus. For me, anything in the whitetail woods that is a whitetail or smaller, I'm probably going to blow through with a mechanical.
Yeah.
I'm extremely confident in that.
Yes.
And for you, what are you, 28.5?
28.5.
Shooting a 430 grain arrow with a 2.5-inch cut, 70 pounds?
Yeah.
You're blowing through a freaking whitetail. You are.
Unless I'm shooting them in the head.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Which I'm not going to.
Yep.
I think I'll be all right.
And for me, I think somehow I lost the footage from all the does that we shot early on. Don't ask me how. I just lost the footage.
The learning process.
But
not perfect.
I will tell you right now, a 2.5-inch cut rec HXP mechanical saved Lance on 2 deer. Flat out.
2 of them.
Mechanicals will save your ass when it comes to deer hunting. And it may save you during elk hunting.
They could, yeah.
I'm going to be honest. Like, if I ever go elk hunting, which I would like to,
probably gonna shoot the Rex.
I'm probably going to shoot an expandable.
Yeah.
Because with me, 3.5-inch draw, which that's well above average,
Yeah.
I would say for most people.
Lengthy boy.
Lengthy. So, I mean, 3.5-inch draw at 70 pounds, I feel like a mechanical is going to, it may not pass through an elk, but I am.
Well, if you shoot the elk in the right spot,
Yeah.
it's probably gonna pass through it. I mean, you shoot it in the shoulder, maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah. But I'm talking like, you know, you go behind the shoulder to where you may hit a rib or two. But like, I'm telling you, I feel like that expandable is going to get at least bare minimum 1 lung. It may not punch out the other side, but I'm going to get 1 or 2 lungs guaranteed.
Oh, yeah.
I can almost guarantee you I will probably get 2 lungs.
Yeah.
And my arrow may even stick out the back side of that elk.
Yeah.
Or it could pass through the elk, but I'm mechanical all day.
Yeah.
And you made a terrible shot.
That was
and
bad.
you know it.
It was a bad shot.
Both your shots were terrible. And you know it. And you got saved.
Yeah, the expandable, my first shot was high, and I ended up cutting that artery that runs across the top of the back, so the deer went like 40 yards. Mm-hmm. And then my second shot, I gut shot her, and I mean, I think I might have got a little bit of liver with it.
I think you got liver,
because the expandable.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise that deer probably would have suffered a lot longer than what she did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it wasn't a great shot, but I think the expandable really did save me. And I used to shoot muzzies, fixed blades, and I'm not going to lie to you, every rec expandable that I shot the HXPs this year, and then just the XPs last year, none of the blades broke.
Not a single failure.
No.
Not a single blade broke. Yeah, blades bend. Like, it's inevitable. Like, you're going to hit bone, you may hit, like me, I shot through my doe, passed through, went to a freaking log, and I pulled it out, and I had 1 blade completely bent. Right, it was 1 blade.
That's how it happens. That's
part of the process.
But I shot those muzzies. I used to shoot those muzzies, and I shot through a deer, and I'm pretty sure it just went in the ground, and my blades were like completely bent. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "What?"
And like expandables for me, after you make that shot, you want to go up and find your arrow, and you want to see blood.
Yeah.
A fixed broadhead, dude, you're not going to get a lot of blood.
I don't think you get. I've never shot the beveled ones or whatever.
Like a single or double bevel.
Yeah, I've never shot those. So I mean,
I don't have it either.
I know a lot of people hunt elk and stuff with those, and I'm assuming they kill elk with them and stuff. But like, a fixed blade does not, in my opinion, get as much of a blood trail as, especially the HXPs. But like a mechanical, just because they open up, the slap cut is what really gets your blood.
You're looking at 3 inches plus.
It slaps open and
it goes straight through.
Cuts in there, and dude, your blood trails are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I mean, me and Noah definitely both shoot mechanicals.
Yeah, but like, so you look at like we shoot rec broadheads obviously because we're talking about them. That slap cut, 3 inches. I mean, every single cut that we made this year was big entry and solid exit.
We got pictures on Instagram of the.
Oh yeah, trails, the trails. Oh yeah, blood trails are.
We might have lost the footage of like the videos of it or whatever, but we still got.
But we got like the reels on
blood
Instagram
trails
and stuff.
So like, if you go and look at those, you'll be like, yeah, that's a blood trail.
I mean, I would much rather have a massive blood trail and a broadhead that saves my ass than a small fixed that maybe gives me 1.25 inch cut, passes through both sides just like my mechanical does, and gives me that big of a hole. Yeah, like you're not going to get a lot. You're going to get some blood here, some blood there, but you're going to have to search for it. I mean, granted, you could hit them hard, and get a decent amount of blood.
Yeah, it's going to pump out.
Or, you hit long and you get lucky because nothing clogs that hole. But it's like, we've had deer go in the creek, and a part of us has been at times, did they try to get in there and pack that hole?
I've had it happen to myself, personally, dude. The deer, me and my dad tracked the deer to where he went, and I was shooting fixed blades. I was shooting those muzzies.
Those muzzies, yeah.
And I shot that buck, and it was a pretty decent shot. It was a little back, but it wasn't a bad shot at all. And maybe me and my dad started tracking him a little early. We waited like 20 minutes, but we thought it was a pretty good shot.
If you're thinking like double lung back.
But it didn't matter because we followed the blood trail, which was,
semi, yeah.
But there was enough to follow it, and then we came to this creek, and the blood went down in the creek, and then you could see like smeared mud, pretty much, where that deer went down in that creek, plugged that hole, and you could see where it came out the other side, and we went up, and we could not find blood since.
No.
So I never did find that deer. So like,
yeah.
I mean, the hole that big compared to
to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of
kind of
big
obvious.
difference.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has their own opinions. Everybody, you know, people kill deer every day with fixed blades, but
And another thing, I think people that are on the fence look at what species you're hunting, but like a good indicator of like what maybe you should hunt. No offense to women at all. Women usually have short draw lengths, low poundage,
lower weight. Yeah,
there's a lot of women out there that are in the industry that shoot Rage expandables, shoot other brands that are expandables, and they're killing bucks every year. They're killing elk every year. And it's like, okay, she's shooting like 50, 55 pounds, 60 max.
Yeah.
And you know her draw length's 24. And she's
like,
getting double lung on a elk with an expandable. Why are you not shooting expandable then?
Yeah.
Especially like, let's just say like you're a male in your teens or, you know, 20s, 30s.
Right.
You know, you should probably be thinking like, dude, she's getting pass-throughs. Or she's getting 3/4 of an arrow that weighs 400 grains or less, or whatever, and she's doing expandable. Like, that should be, to me, that's a green light of, yeah, I need to shoot expandables. Because if she's getting pass-throughs and she is 20 pounds less than me,
yeah, I think I'm going to get some pass-throughs.
9 inches shorter than my draw length, like, I'm going to be doing some damage with expandables. If she can, I definitely can.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's just, it's all opinionated, but that's, yeah, expandables all day long. They will save you. They've saved him.
Yep.
And it's just obvious to me. Expandables all day long.
Especially if you get a good shot, the deer's dead anyways. But
yeah,
I mean, even if you're back, say you shoot back a little bit, well, it opens up. It's gonna.
And you know, like like swackers.
Yeah.
So like, you have your ferrule, and then you have your 2 little bleeder blades. So whenever that enters the animal, those bleeders will open up the blade inside the animal. So your entry hole is like your pinky.
Okay.
That's your entry hole every single time. It is very small. So you are hoping once those blades go in, theoretically they go in through the rib cage, then they open up with all the vitals, cut all the vitals, and you'll get your exit wound. If you don't get an exit wound, then you're looking at nothing. You're looking at a hole that big.
Yeah, that ain't
in which stuff happens to where you may hit 2 ribs, and you know you didn't have enough kinetic energy, the distance of your shot, whatever, and it's like, well, now you're banking on that hole the size of your pinky to find blood and go find that deer. Even if it was a good shot, double lung. Yeah. You ain't getting a lot of blood off that. No, I'm just saying, like,
unless you hit it in the heart where it's blowing out.
Yeah.
You know?
And you are banking, like, just swackers alone, just from what I've seen on videos and research, you are banking on that exit entry, that exit hole. That's what you're banking on. Pretty much. You ain't getting much on that entry. It's all about the slap cut.
Yeah, it's all about the wrecks.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
But yeah, that's our opinion on that. Fixed and mechanical, we're both mechanicals all day long.
Yeah.
Drop your comments, whether you're mechanical or you think we're just the dumbest guys when it comes to opinions and you don't like it. Go ahead and type down below and be like, hey man, you guys got it. Yeah, keyboard. You guys got it all wrong, not mechanical. Which, I mean, everybody's opinions are different, and you might be somebody who's had a lot of success with fixed blades. Yeah. And you might be like, well, you can't blow through a shoulder with mechanical. Well, right arrow weight, right draw length, right poundage.
You'll be all right.
Yeah, I think you'll be just fine.
Yeah.
But what's our next one?
Out of state hunters was our next.
That was our last one for that.
And this is pretty much our opinion on Illinois out of state hunters because that's where we live. Yep. That's what we deal with. Yeah. I'll start this one off. I think Illinois should be a draw system just like Iowa or your other major whitetail states.
I'm gonna throw this out there. Do you know that Colorado is now over the counter for elk?
Really?
You are not. They are no longer over the counter.
Oh,
so you have to draw for elk now in Colorado, and Colorado is the closest location for us to go elk hunting.
So no, we're not.
Yeah, we might need to switch to mule deer like before we do elk.
Yeah,
if and when that comes up.
Yeah. So out of state hunting, Illinois, in my opinion, should become a draw state. Me and Noah actually, this is a little story. We hunted public land this year.
Something we don't usually do.
No, we try not to, but our luck was it was horrible. So we were just trying to switch it up. And we saw, maybe 4 or 5 deer, none shootable or within shooting range, or they're too young, whatever.
Like 3 of them were on public across the river. But I mean, we were on public and we saw them. They were on private, but we technically saw deer when we were hunting public, whatever.
But we got out of there and we left and we were like, let's just go look around, see what this spot actually has.
Because we parked on like the outer edge of public, and they had like a whole trail system back in the middle. And go ahead.
So
Lance was like, let's go drive it.
we drive in there, and we're just looking at the cars because we're seeing them in the parking lots and stuff. And we're like, well, oh, that's an out-of-state car.
And our parking lot, nothing.
Not a single person.
We went in, driving wise, another 200 yards, and there were 2 more vehicles.
Yep. One of them was in Illinois.
And that's all we thought was in there. That's literally all we thought. We were driving in there, and then it went south so fast.
Oh, yeah. We get all the way to the back, and there is like 8 vehicles, all out-of-state vehicles.
I'm like lined up, one after another. And yeah, all out of state, and you know for sure every single truck, it wasn't just one hunter.
Yeah, most people that hunt out of state aren't going by themselves.
So now you're looking at 8, probably maybe 16 people.
Yeah.
All in that back, I don't know, 400 or 500 acres.
Wherever they went.
You know, I mean, depending on where they walked, but
and they might hunt it every year too. They might know the area a little bit better, but just the fact of being able to come to supposedly one of the better whitetail states in Illinois,
probably the top 5 in the nation.
I don't know the exact amount that it costs to buy it. I mean, it's not cheap by any means. Mm-hmm. Cheaper than going out to Colorado and hunting an elk.
Yeah, you're probably looking at, I know elk in Colorado over the counter, give or take, high $600-700 bucks. Mm-hmm. Now you're looking at, I think, Illinois, high 200s, low 300s.
I think
doable over the counter tag.
Yeah, I'm not 100. I know you got to get a hunting license and a tag. I don't know how much it is, but either way, like if Illinois is supposed to be one of the better states to hunt whitetails, that's not a bad price to pay when you go to Iowa. Mm-hmm. And good luck getting a tag because you got to be in the drawing for probably like 5 years.
Yeah, minimum.
And you got to, I mean, you pay for the drawing, they send you your money back, but I don't know if they keep a little bit of it or what.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
Like you have to pay I don't even know how much it is.
And like we've been on job sites and ran into like landowners who lease their property or like outfitters, and we've talked to them. And I remember talking to a guy, and he's like, I got a guy. He's out east, and it's taken him like 8 years to draw this tag. Yeah. And it's just like, you guys are doing something right. Yeah. You know, like automatically, it's just like
that's the way it should be. And people might argue like, well, we get so much money from all these out-of-state hunters. You're still going to get the money in the draw system. It's still the same amount. But guess what? You're limiting the amount of people that come in. Because literally anybody can come to Illinois and hunt. And that, in my honest opinion, has been a big issue with even finding places to hunt in Illinois.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Noah have lived here for 27 years. I mean, we're 27 years old. We used to have spots that we could hunt, because our parents knew the property owners, whatever, and then they've gotten older, and Noah's property is no longer there. He tore all of it out.
He tore all the timber. He tore the timber, so I ran.
And then my property, my uncle used to own, and he sold it, and then the farmer bought it, and now they turned all the pasture into cornfield and stuff. But like, it's almost impossible to find private land to hunt on in Illinois. Yeah. Good luck. I mean,
and if you put yourself in our shoes, you hunt 2 different farms. We snagged a 3rd one late in the year this year. And it's not a guarantee we hunt it next year. We have 2 farms. They're both not great by any means by any means. Okay, we can shoot a doe or 2 off each one, if everything goes well. But like, not great properties by any means. You work your ass off all summer, prepping, getting ready, shooting your bow, maintenance, this and that. Your season goes to absolute crap. And then you start talking to your best friend. You're like, hey, man, like, we need to switch it up. Like, we need to do something. Like, let's go public. You go to your own public. That was an hour drive for us. The best public we could possibly get on. That's reasonably close to us. Mm-hmm. And you go there, and it's like, we got Wisconsin. We got Kansas. We got. You go there, and you're like, you can't even hunt your own state's public land that is meant for you.
Yeah, I'm paying taxes in this.
Yeah, you can't even go in there with semi-confidence.
No,
because it's like bad. I can't hunt this.
It's bad, dude.
There's a truck. Let's just say 2 guys, just 2, and there's probably 3 in one truck, maybe 4 in another truck.
Yeah, you never know.
And it's just like, it's a slap in your face, man. It was a slap in our face.
I mean, all of the ground, like a lot of ground gets leased up by people out of state. Mm-hmm. One of the properties me and Noah actually have permission to hunt. It's not far from his house. We were hunting it last year. I think we told this story maybe, I don't know. There was a giant deer in there. And me and Noah had one trail camera picture of it and saw him one time early in the morning up on a hill. That's it. And some guys from out of state came and offered that farmer some money to go hunt that deer. They went in there with a crossbow, of course,
Yep.
and shot that deer as he was bedded down. How do you think they saw that deer? They drove down that road and saw him.
Word on the street, he shot him from 80 yards.
Yeah.
That was the word. And we were mad. And then a fellow hunter
That hunted the adjoining property.
They found out about it. And then they more or less got in a confrontation with the farmer that basically got paid for these guys to come in. And it was a whole debacle. But it was like that could have been prevented.
Like 100%.
Like, it's just like you put in all that time and effort and guys just walk in, go on a map. That could be decent. Find some intel. And they're like, oh, there's a lot of deer out in that field. Let's just drive by every morning, every evening.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow, some way, they saw that deer. And they
you don't go in a property and shoot a deer like that bedded down without knowing that deer's there.
Yeah.
So either they were driving around at night or they were just driving around during the day and they happened to see that deer and they're like, oh, he's following a doe. He might bed down over there. Mm-hmm. So then they just went and asked the farmer, which, I mean, if you watch these guys on TV, I mean, what does Sequin do? They drive around, they look at properties, and they go in and talk to the people. Well, usually, if the people have somebody hunting the property, they don't get to hunt it.
Usually deny it.
Money starts getting involved. Well, there's a little bit. I mean,
here's $1,200.
People live off of money, so
give me 3 days, $1,200.
$300 a deer that obviously the farmer doesn't hunt, so he's like, "Oh, dude, you're gonna pay me to go shoot a deer?"
I'm not saying it was $1,200, but that's an example.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know
you start throwing money, it's just like, all right, you guys have till Sunday.
Yeah,
and he totally forgot about me, basically his neighbor.
Yeah,
and then he knows him and I have hunted for years. We went to school with his kids, and it was like, it was just one of those things where it was bad. It was really bad.
It was really unfortunate.
Stuff got heated pretty quick.
I don't remember what that deer measured. 176 inches, I think. It was ridiculous, and
you're talking a property that literally it was 2 fingers of timber.
Yeah,
like my arm is a finger. My arm is a finger. This finger is like 100 some yards wide. This finger is like 40, and we were always at the 40. And this deer would occasionally come and go from this little sliver to this big sliver. And there's a road way over here, and you don't just happen just to knock on that door and go kill that deer.
No,
like
you know that deer's there.
You were watching that deer for a day or two, or you were out there at night doing some shady stuff. And there's that level B road, that winds back in there,
grass lane that you can drive all the way down.
Yep. So that's bad situation. That was out of stater, and it was just
So in Illinois, I think me and Noah are kind of on the same page. Like, Illinois should be a draw state. It just should.
Yeah.
Like, pretty much anywhere we want to hunt. I mean, I think Ohio's, you can go over the counter.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, you can.
I think Missouri, you can go over the counter as well.
I want to say you can.
But you want to go to Kansas, you want to go to Iowa, good luck.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be drawing.
And that's just, I think that's just, to me, that's the way it should be. Like, you want to go hunt another state, you put in your time, you put in your money to go hunt that state, and maybe you'll be rewarded. But like, you go to public land because you had a terrible season, and it's just like, out of state. I can't hunt this back quarter. No. I can't hunt this at all.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
It's just a slap in your face.
Of people there's outfitters. Obviously, a lot of out-of-state people hunt outfitters and stuff like that. And that's another problem. I mean, you get a lot of outfitters around our area, honestly. There's quite a few around this area, and they own so much ground.
There's so many.
And then you go to try to talk to people that, have property, and they're like, well, we actually lease it out to, 6 guys, and they're out-of-staters or something. It's like, dude, it cuts down on the out-of-staters leasing all the ground? Them having to draw a tag and not get it.
Yeah, because then those outfitters are probably going to dip.
Yeah, it's like
if you don't got the minimum income you need, because guys they don't know that location and they're drawing every single year trying to get in, and they don't get in, and not a lot of people know about that county or know about that back 4 miles where it's like prime, and you're an outfitting business and they can't find you, whether it's on the internet or whatever. Like, you may just be like, okay, I gotta sell this farm because I'm not making ends meet no more, because now we're not a
or even just your everyday farmer
state.
That's leasing it to the guys. Like, like the guys aren't going to lease it because they're not getting the tag. So then, people in state can lease it, or they might just be like, yeah, we'll start getting more permission farms. It's hard to get permission farms anywhere you go. I know that. I mean, it's not
tough.
Just Illinois because of out of state stuff, but like out of state hunters really has a big deal in Illinois when anybody can come from anywhere and hunt here. You just got to pay the money to come hunt here. So me and Noah both, I feel the same way that Illinois should be a draw state. When you go right across the river, they're that way. So why not go with the times? Honestly, I mean,
yeah.
Pretty much most states that you hunt big animals, I mean elk, deer, they're draw states. I mean, pretty much anywhere you want to hunt elk,
you ain't walking into New Mexico buying a freaking tag over the counter. New Mexico, dude, you're drawing that tag, and that's a once in a lifetime tag for New Mexico.
Exactly. It's kind of ridiculous. If you guys think out of state hunting's fine for Illinois, I mean, we don't know. I mean, obviously, if Noah and I had the opportunity to hunt out of state, we would. But I mean, why not? Why try to go to a draw state when you go to a state over the counter?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can't really blame people for coming to Illinois when it's draw, but being residents of Illinois, it just kind of irks on you when you run into stuff like that.
And maybe you guys have had, if you're watching this, if you've had stuff like that happen to you, maybe you live in Missouri. I want to say Missouri is a over-the-counter state. Maybe you've had stuff where you're like, ask for permission. They're like, no, we lease that to guys out of Kansas. You may have ran into that situation where it's like, I lease it to guys out of state. And it's like, well, back to the drawing board again, which you and I have been at 845,000 times. Yeah,
our drawing board's been erased about 5 million times and redrawn on.
Yeah, we hope we don't. God, I hope we don't have to restart again this year.
Yeah. So, I think that was all 3 of our topics, right, for this one.
Yeah.
So leave us a like, comment, give us some of your opinions on our opinions. Just try to keep up with us. Hopefully you guys enjoy what we're saying. Hopefully it's coming out good and you guys don't think we're complete pieces of crap for our opinions, but
yeah, just leave whatever you want in the comments. We're going to try to get quite a few of these filmed. Right now we got 2 done after this video, and I'm going to I'll go home, I'll edit these on Sunday, which is tomorrow, and then try to pump these out every Monday.
Yep.
So then if you're at work or you're in the truck driving to work, you can just put on YouTube and just throw us up and listen to our opinions and what we think, needs to be delegated, I guess.
Yeah.
To an extent,
just like, hey, man. I mean, I'm sure everybody has an opinion on something, so.
Yeah, and hopefully this kind of gives you insight to like who we are. And I guess kind of opens us up to you guys, and you guys are like, oh, hey, I agree with that, bro.
Rock on.
Yeah. So, but that's it for us. That's our second podcast. Episode 2 is finished.
Yep.
Peace. Hell yeah.
Oh, nice, brother.